What's up traders, it's Nick here and welcome to another breakdown. As usual, I will be keeping it as educational as possible. So without further ado, let the intro roll and I will see you on the charts. The pair that I want to speak about in today's video is USD CHF. I want to give you guys a full breakdown of the situation that we currently have on it and how we can be looking for the next opportunity on the pair. Now, as usual, first I will be speaking about the technical aspect of this market. We will then go and see what we have from an order flow perspective by checking how hedge funds, so the non-commercials in the market, which are the biggest speculators, are moving their positions in time. And obviously, if you're able to track how the biggest speculators in the market are shifting their orders, you do have an advantage over your competition in the marketplace. And by the end of the video, by using the combination of our technicals and our order flow analysis, we will be able to understand where we can be looking for the highest probability setup on this pair. Now, starting here from the monthly time frame, what do we have? Now, here on the monthly, we consider the market has just provided a nice impulse to the downside, followed by this correction. Now, generally speaking, after an impulse, if you want to measure the correction, what you have to do is take your Fibonacci from the high to the low of the impulse. And if we take our Fibonacci from the high to the low of this impulse, what we can see is that the market has just retraced exactly to the 50% of the Fibonacci taken on the impulse leg. Now, in this specific case, what we can see that this 50% is actually lining up quite perfectly with the previous support now turned resistance here on the monthly time frame, because as you know, this is a very basic concept when it comes to the market. If you have a level of support and the market breaks that support to the downside, at that point the previous support is now turned resistance. So what you expect is a retest of the previous support turned resistance before a continuation to the downside. So here in the monthly, what we have is previous support turned resistance, the market is testing it, and we also have the 50% in it, meaning that this zone here that the market has just tested is actually a confluence of support zone coming by the confluence of the previous support, turn resistance, with the 50% Fibonacci taken on the impulse leg. And as we can see, in fact, this is exactly the zone that the market just tested and rejected quite aggressively to the downside. So on the monthly, everything looks quite bearish. We have the impulse, correction, and we do expect a continuation to the downside for a deeper rejection away from the resistance that we have just identified. Going down on the weekly time frame, what do we see? Now here on the weekly, actually we see a completely different scenario. In fact, here on the weekly, we consider the market is currently trapped in between the previous support that we have here on the weekly, and this previous support is now turned resistance here, and also we have previous resistance turned support at this area. So basically the market is trapped in between the previous weekly resistance, now turned support, that we have here, and the previous support turned resistance that we have here. Basically, we are trapped at the moment from a structure perspective in between these two levels of structure. Now, until the market will remain trapped in between these two levels, we cannot be looking for an opportunity because it simply would be too risky to be looking for an opportunity, at least from a weekly perspective, until the market remains bounded. That is a very basic concept, unless the market gives the possibility from a lower time frame point of view, as we will now go and see. The market will provide the possibility to be looking for a move and a pattern inside of this range without the need of completing the pattern outside of this range. When I will go down on lower time frames, you will see exactly what I'm speaking about. Going down on the daily time frame, in fact, what do we see? Now here on the daily, first of all, I had spoken about USD CHF quite a few times in the past. I spoke about USD CHF when the market was here. I made a full breakdown explaining all the reasons for which from here we expected the market to provide this move to the downside. And in fact, that is exactly what the market did. Then we had the creation of this test of support at this level. And from here, I made another breakdown explaining all the reasons for which from here we expected the market to provide a rejection to the upside. And again, that is exactly what the market did. And then I spoke about USD CHF after this W formation when the market was at this level, explaining all the reasons for which we wanted to see this retracement to complete the W formation at the neckline, because always remember that when you have a W formation, you expect the market to create a completion at the neckline, which is the previous previous resistance, now turn support from a daily perspective. And again, that is exactly what the market did. The market gave us the move to the downside, completing the W formation at the neckline exactly as we wanted to see. And by the way, I will link in description all this previous analysis so you can go and check it out for further reference and more free education. If you have any requests for other breakdowns, make sure that you leave it in the comment below, and also make sure you like and subscribe. Now, as we have already seen on the weekly, all this area here is very strong resistance from a weekly perspective. We have already identified that, and this area is also strong resistance on the monthly. However, here on the daily, what we can see is that we have a nice impulse and correction, and there's the possibility to complete this impulse correction and impulse pattern to the upside by creating a higher high on the daily and testing the resistance that we have on the monthly and weekly without the need of breaking above this resistance. So there is the possibility from a lower time frame perspective, so the daily, to be looking for a move and a pattern completion inside of the weekly range. That is basically what I was trying to explain earlier, that there is the possibility here on the lower time frame, so on the daily, to see a completion of a nice impulse correction and impulse pattern to the upside inside of the weekly range without the need of breaking above or below the weekly range. So here on the daily, everything looks quite clear. I will now go even in more details on the technicals here on the daily, but first I want to show you guys what we have from a COT perspective, so commitment of traders perspective, which is what hedge funds are doing in the market. Now on the CHF, what we can see now here on the CHF, we can see that with the last report, net positions have decreased from 11.4K to 8.3K net positions. Basically 3K longs got closed and around 4 shorts got opened. That is not much, but anyway, massive amount of longs are getting closed on the CHF. Now keep in mind that all currencies on the spot are traded against the USD, meaning that when you check the data for the CHF, you're actually checking CHF USD. But since we want informations on USD CHF, we simply have to reverse everything that we see, meaning that obviously if hedge funds are decreasing their net positions on CHF USD, it means that they're increasing their net positions on USD CHF by closing shorts obviously and opening longs. So actually on USD CHF, what we're seeing is the CHF getting weaker, so there is definitely a possibility to complete the pattern to the upside and complete this impulse correction and impulse pattern to the upside. So how we will be approaching this potential opportunity with students? Now, first of all, here on the daily, we have a market which is currently testing previous daily resistance, which is now turned daily support. Plus, we have a nice impulse and correction. Now, generally speaking, after an impulse, if you want to measure the correction, you have to take your Fibonacci from the low to the high of the impulse. And what we can see is that the market went for a perfect test of the 50% again. Why the 50%? Because this is a confluence of support area given by the 50% with the previous daily resistance now turns support, exactly the level that the market tested and started to reject to the upside. So how we will be approaching this opportunity and situation with students? Now, as usual, we will be reactive and not predictive. The monthly, weekly, and daily time frames, those are the best time frames for the direction of the market. But the best time frame when it comes to confirmations and entries is the 4 hours. Now here on the 4 hours, we can see that at the moment, everything is still bearish. The market has bearish structure, bearish environment, and until everything will remain like this market will easily continue to the downside. So at the moment, there is no sign for any bullish opportunity on USD CHF. However, things might definitely change in the future, which is exactly what we will be waiting for with students. So with students, what we will be doing is monitoring price action from a 4-hour perspective inside of this area, waiting for the market to shift from a 4-hour bearish market as we have right now to a 4-hour bullish market. And as soon as the market will shift from a 4-hour bearish to a 4-hour bullish market, at that point, we will be adding USD CHF to our watch list with students. And as soon as the market will provide to us one of our valid entries, we will be taking a nice long with a very good risk to reward and very good probabilities at that point for the move to the upside and for the market to complete the pattern with a nice impulse correction and impulse pattern to the upside to go and retest the weekly resistance that we have already identified at the beginning of the video. But if here everything will remain bearish on the 4-hour as it is right now, then obviously there will be no opportunity. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you smash that like button and comment below. It really does support the creation of more free education analysis and updates. For all of you, you can also comment below and let me know which pairs you would like me to cover in my next videos. Also, make sure you go and check out the mentorship program. It's a very complete program. The link is in the description. First, you get all the rules of my rule-based strategies, and then you trade the strategies with me. Each and every day, you get a new daily market breakdown showing you how to apply the strategies with the entries, stops, and take profits, as well as having me answering all your questions every single day, including the weekend. So it's a very complete program. I really suggest that you go and check it out. The link is in the description, and I will see you in it.